Benvenuto! Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're going to make potato salad. Now, before you click on to the next video, I know there's hundreds, if not thousands of recipes for potato salad out there. But this recipe is for all of those out there that if you're like me, over the years you've tried every potato salad recipe you can think of. You've tried potato salad with onions and celery and scallions and gold or yellow potatoes, purple potatoes, and I've never been happy with the result. Anyway, this is the culmination of many different recipes that I've tried over the years, and I think I've finally hit on the one that we really enjoy. So anyway, let's get going over the ingredients. Of course, what we're going to need is potatoes. All right, now, this is a russet potato or Idaho potato. All right, it's about a medium-sized potato. You're going to need about 5 of them, or more importantly, you're going to need about 3.5 pounds of potatoes for this recipe. And of course, that's based on how I've come up with the measurements for the dressing. So about 5 medium russets, 3.5 pounds. And the reason that's important, as I said, is because of the dressing and the ratios of the seasonings and so on and so forth to it. So if you want to make a larger batch of this, just double it or quadruple it or whatever the case may be. All of the ingredients. All right, so we're going to go over this in a minute. I'll peel this and I'll show you how I like to dice it up. I think one of the secrets to this potato salad recipe, and something that I've discovered, is cooking it in, or boiling the potatoes in bouillon. All right, I like this Herb Ox chicken bouillon, no sodium added. Okay, so there's no salt in this whatsoever. Now, you can use whatever bouillon that you like. This one I like for a couple of different reasons. One of them is it's somewhat convenient because it comes in little packages inside the box. Okay, and according to the directions in the box, 1 packet will season 1 cup of water. So, for this particular recipe, I have determined that we need 6 cups of water to boil our potatoes in. All right, again, that's important because we're going to use 6 packets of our Herb Ox chicken bouillon. All right, and then also, now there's no salt in that whatsoever, so remember, you need to add salt to your water. And we're going to do 1 tablespoon of sea salt. All right, first of all, 1 tablespoon might seem like a lot, but remember, we're just adding this to the water. Yes, some of the flavoring of the salt is going to get into the potatoes, but most of it's going to be dumped down the drain. Now, the other important thing is sea salt, okay? I always use sea salt when I boil potatoes, most vegetables if I'm just going to boil them, and pasta. I always use sea salt to do it. So I'm using a tablespoon of sea salt, depending upon whether you're using, say, maybe kosher salt or table salt. You might want a little bit less because, of course, sea salt, the granules are much bigger. All right, so that's what we're going to need to boil our potatoes. We're also going to need some eggs. So for this recipe, I need 6 hard-boiled eggs, and we're going to go over how I hard-boil the eggs in a little bit. All right, so the main ingredient, the potatoes, that's one thing, and then the next thing that comes to doing a good potato salad is, of course, your dressing. All right, so to begin with our dressing, we're going to need a cup of mayonnaise. Whatever your favorite mayonnaise is, I have found that for potato salad or macaroni salad, I really like the creamy style real mayonnaise. Now, would you use Miracle Whip? You could use Miracle Whip if you really like Miracle Whip. However, because this recipe also has sweet pickles in it, using Miracle Whip might make it a little bit too sweet. So I would stick with real mayonnaise or whole mayonnaise. All right. Then we're going to need between 2 and 4. And again, all of this is going to be in the written recipe, but I just wanted to tell you why I use the amounts that I use. So you're going to need between 2 and 4 tablespoons of yellow mustard. All right. So 4 tablespoons of yellow mustard is 1/4 cup. Now, I've tried it in doing this recipe. I've tried it with just 2 and with 2 tablespoons and 4 tablespoons. And guess what? I think 3 tablespoons is the perfect amount. So that's what I use, is 3 tablespoons of yellow mustard. If you wanted a little less sharp, that mustard taste, use a little bit less. If you like a little bit more of the mustard tang, use the 4 tablespoons. Okay, we're going to need gherkins, sweet gherkins, okay? And we'll just quickly go over that. I like them diced. Wade likes them diced particularly small, so I dice them nice and small for him. So, you know, again, probably about a dice of that size. All right, we'll cut one in a minute. This is, you know, it's drained of the liquid. All right, then you need some sweet relish. Okay, so you need 1/4 cup of sweet relish. You don't have to bother draining that. There's not that much liquid in there. It's not going to add a lot to it. And then we're going to need a little paprika. All right, paprika doesn't really, I don't think, really adds a lot of flavor to it, but it's going to kind of give it that nice cookout style color of potato salad. And then we're going to need 2 to 4 tablespoons, oh, I'm sorry, 2 to 4 teaspoons of dried minced onions. All right, I've tried it using regular onions. I just like the way that this flavor adds to it. It adds to it that little kind of background flavor without a lot of extra texture to it, because we got texture going on with the pickles and the relish. And that's dried minced onions. Then, of course, last but not least, salt and pepper to taste. Of course, that salt and pepper to taste is going to be how you like it and how your family likes it. Again, we're going to use a tablespoon of the sea salt in our water, so that's going to flavor our potatoes pretty well. All right, I think we've gone over all the ingredients. Let's get cooking. Okay, guys, we're going to start to get everything in the pot. So, as you can see, I've already peeled and diced my other potatoes. Of course, I had these in some water while I was waiting to get the other one done so that they don't brown at all. I don't know why I'm doing this. They are all pretty good size. All right, so our last potato, again, just how I cut it, it's really not that difficult, or how I do it. I basically am looking for, I don't want too big of chunks, but I don't want too small of chunks either. A couple of the small chunks, the ends are going to kind of, you know, meld in and kind of mash a little bit with some of the bigger chunks of the potatoes, which I kind of like. But anyway, so you're basically kind of looking for a consistent size. All right, so, you know, nice good size cubes. I think that's just about the perfect size. Okay, it's going to hold its shape. It's not going to be too big, and I think in potato salad it's nice if the pieces are all about the same size and bite size. All right. So in this case, I just cut the potato in 3 lengthwise, and then just probably about a 1/2 inch. All right. Easy as that. Okay, that's our potatoes at least sliced and in the bowl. All right, and then with the gherkins are going to add a nice little crunch to it, and that just delicious kind of sweet taste of the gherkin. Like I said, we like them to be cut a little bit smaller. You can cut them the size you want. I do feel that this size is perfect because you're going to get it in every spoonful. If you cut them too big, then you're going to get, you know, a few big spoonfuls or a few mouthfuls without it. So truthfully, just, you know, Wade likes them cut a little bit smaller, but it really does work out best because it does spread the flavor and the texture all through the salad. So I just took one gherkin, cut it in half and then half again, and little tiny dice. All right, now that's for our dressing, so I'm going to put that aside for now. All right, so our potatoes are all prepared. We're going to take our potatoes and get them in the pot. Now, this is extremely important, guys. You want to start with cold water, okay? So we got our 6 cups of cold water, and that should be enough for this pan. Yep, because you just want them to be covered. Perfect. All right, so we're starting with cold water at this point, and we want to bring this to a very rapid boil. So put your heat source on high and let it boil. So it's important because we're going to use that. We start with cold water because, of course, we want the potatoes to begin to cook as you know, the water comes to a boil. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this on high. We're going to keep our eye on it. Don't walk away and forget it. We're going to keep our eye on it, and the moment it comes to that rolling boil, we're going to set a timer for 10 minutes. Then we're going to 10 minutes, not a minute longer, not a minute less. We're going to set our timer for 10 minutes, and then we're going to immediately drain our potatoes. And one thing that I have found that really, I don't know what happens, but maybe it's magic, it happens in the refrigerator or whatever the case is, but I have found that in making the potato salad, it really helps to let your potatoes become completely cool. So ideally, I like to do my potatoes the night before and my dressing, which we're going to make right after this, and throw it in the refrigerator. Then when you go to put your dressing together, your potato salad together the next day, everything is already nice and chilled. I don't know if any of you have like said, oh, I'm going to make a potato salad, and half the day has gone by and you forgot to do it, and then all of a sudden you're throwing a potato salad together at the last moment and it's still warm when you're serving it. That's no fun. 4 hours. I'm going to probably give it, just because of the time that we're taping, and I didn't get a chance to cut them up last night, and or else I would have had to make 2 batches because I wanted to show you all how I do it. But a good 4 hours minimum. You're going to, as we're, they're going to start to cool down as we're doing the rest of our recipe, and then we're going to throw them in the refrigerator for a minimum of 4 hours, and then we'll mix it all together. All right, so at this point, let's sprinkle our salt on top, and we can sprinkle this on top too. Now, this isn't going to start to absolutely dissolve right away, but as that comes up to temperature, it will dissolve, but I'm going to give it a stir. Just so we'll get it going. And you can already smell the chicken bouillon, but that is just going to give your potatoes a beautiful, beautiful taste. All right, let me just clean a few of these things away, and we'll go on to our dressing. I'm going to use this same bowl to put our cooked potatoes back in, so we can leave that right handy. All right, so we got our mayonnaise, our ketchup, our relish and gherkins, our onions, paprika, and I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt in there and pepper for a little bit of flavor. All right, so then I got my bowl here, and again, I'm gonna do this, get my dressing ready ahead of time. One, it's going to chill in the refrigerator. Everything will be nice and cold. And by doing it this way, in my opinion, you're giving all your nice flavors a chance to meld together as it's waiting to be mixed with our deliciously flavored potatoes into a beautiful potato salad. All right, so we've got our cup of mayo. And again, if you're going to double this, say you were going to double this recipe, you're going to use 2 cups of mayonnaise. All right, if you're going to quadruple it for a big, gigantic family cookout, then you're going to use 3 cups of mayonnaise. This is going to probably be, this is a nice size potato salad, especially if you're, just doing it for your own family, depending on how big it is, of course. It's probably going to serve 5 to 7. I mean, you've got 5 medium-sized potatoes in there, but of course there's other things, and usually potato salad is a side salad. So then we got our 3 tablespoons of mustard. Put just a little pinch, 2 pinches of salt in there. We'll adjust the seasoning before we mix everything together. A couple pinches of pepper. All right, so in total, you're probably going to use about a teaspoon of the paprika. Again, paprika I don't think is going to add a lot of flavor to it, but it does add that color. So I got about a half a teaspoon. All right, I'm going to add it in there, and then we'll use our the rest to sprinkle it on top to give it that nice cookout style looking potato salad. Just gonna start to mix that all together. Let's throw our onions in there. Our gherkins. I don't know why I love to say gherkin. Our gherkins. Get in there. And we got our sweet relish. Now I wonder, I haven't done this. If anybody watches this video and decides to do it, you could do this kind of like with all dill. You could use dill relish, dill gherkins, and have a totally different potato salad. Of course, if you use dill, it's going to give it a little bit more savory taste. This is going to give it that little bit more sweet taste. That's a good idea. All right, so we want to get that all combined nice. And see, it just has that nice kind of little reddish yellow, that it's got that cookout picnic look to it. Now, of course, we're also going to do our hard-boiled eggs, so we're going to add this to this. We're going to add our hard-boiled eggs to this, but we don't have those done yet, so. Okay. Put our cover on that, and we'll throw that in the refrigerator, and that will be ready with when we get our eggs done. All right, so our potatoes are going along nicely. All right, now it's important, guys. Don't rush this. Don't put a cover on this and say, "I'll bring it to a boil faster by putting a cover on it." Don't rush it. Let it come to a boil. Set on high on your heat source. Let it come to a boil by itself. All right, when that's boiling, I'm going to back. We'll be back, and I'll show you a rolling boil, and we'll go on with our recipe. All right, guys, a rolling boil. You can see our water is rolling a bit. It's making a bubble, and it's rolling. That's a rolling boil, all right? All right, so again, important at this point, 10 minutes. Okay, Google, set a timer for 10 minutes. Okay, we're going to let that boil for exactly 10 minutes, and then we're going to drain it. So we'll be back in 10 minutes. All right, we've been standing here watching our potatoes boil for 9 minutes, and well, I think it's almost over. All right, almost at 10 minutes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, Google, cancel. All right, guys, I'm going to shut this off, and I am going to give this a quick test. Mind you, too, I have stirred it a couple times as we stand here. I just wanted to do a quick test that was not on. One, to make sure it's the degree of doneness I want, and that's perfect. All right, perfect. 10 minutes, guys. All right, hurry up and get these drained. Put that in there quite yet. And then one of the other reasons I have found that if you let them cool overnight in the refrigerator, or at least for the 4 hours, the potatoes will firm up a little bit more. So you just want to drain them good, get as much of the seasoned water as you can out. All right, and then we'll put them in that bowl. All right, so I'm going to let that sit on the counter for a little bit. Let that get to room temperature as fast as possible, but we're going to put that in the refrigerator anyway. So, all right, so we're going to move on to our hard-boiled eggs. All right, so making hard-boiled eggs. All right, guys, so I've got our 6 eggs in here, and I've got our eggs covered by, totally immersed and covered probably about a ½ inch over the egg. All right, we're going to turn our heat source on again to high. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring that, again, you're starting with cold water. We're going to bring that cold water to a boil. Then we're going to shut off the heat source, and then we're going to cover it for 11 minutes. And then as soon as that 11 minutes is up, we're going to rinse our eggs under some cold water to, of course, stop the cooking process. And I think we'll end up with the perfect hard-boiled eggs. Also show you a little trick that I do that might make them peel a little bit easier. I don't know if it does or not, but anyway, we'll see you when the water boils. Okay, guys, you can see our eggs have come to a nice boil. Okay, so at this point, we're going to shut our heat source off. I'm going to remove the pan, and we're going to cover it tightly. And we're going to leave them in there for 11 minutes. Okay, Google, set a timer for 11 minutes.
All right, 11 minutes, starting now.
Now, if we've done it right, that should give us a nicely hard-boiled egg without any of that kind of greenish. Sometimes sometimes when you boil eggs, you get that greenish film around the yolk. You can still eat the egg. The egg is perfectly good. It's delicious. It's just that sometimes when the egg boils a little bit too long, the sulfur from the egg yolk, kind of turns that little grenishy color instead of that nice bright yellow. Hopefully, we've done it right. Okay, see you in 11 minutes. Okay, Google, cancel. All right, guys, we've had our eggs in there for 11 minutes, so we're going to get them out of the hot water into a strainer. Just strain that hot water out and run some cold water over them. And then back in your pan. And I like to I want to cool these down relatively fast because I want to stop them cooking, but I also, I want to get these cool so they're in the, I can put them on dressing. So I'll throw a little bit of ice in there. All right. And I said I'll show you a little trick. I don't know if this helps at all, but I take it and I crack it a little and I put it back in the water. Sometimes there's already a little crack in that one, so that's okay. I don't know, in my mind, it helps loosen up that little membrane that's, keeps the shell sticking to it, but I don't know. I don't know if it works at all. All right, so we're going to let those cool down enough so that we can handle them, and then we'll peel them. See you then. All right, our eggs are cool enough to handle. It really only took a couple minutes, so I just want them cool enough so that I can pick them up and peel them. All right, so then sometimes if you start on the flatter side of the egg, there's a little air pocket in there. And sometimes it's just a matter of getting that little piece of film underneath it before you start to take off the rest of the egg. I don't know if you can see that, but that little bit of membrane, which is sometimes what causes so much trouble with hard-boiled eggs. Also, I think I've read or seen or something that the older the egg, the easier it is to peel. I'm going to throw it back in our chilled water. To continue to cool down while we do the rest of it. And unless you all tell me in the comments that you really enjoy watching me peel eggs, I'll see you in a little bit. All right, we got all of our eggs nicely peeled, and let's slice into it. Look at that, a beautiful yellow yolk, guys. There's no sulfur mark around the egg. I don't know what that's called specifically, but anyway, to me that's the perfect consistency for a potato salad, because your yolk isn't going to all fall apart either, because it's still a tiny bit, not undercooked, but I don't know, moist instead of being dry. All right, so for this, I just very loosely chop these up, guys. Nothing fancy, little cubes. This is going to get all mixed in with our dressing. I do 6 eggs in this. You know, if you want, you could save one of your eggs and, kind of put it on the top of it. Slice it up nice and neat to put on the top. I don't do that. I'm going to put all of our 6 eggs in to our dressing and get it mixed all up nicely. But again, so I'm just using a regular steak knife to chop these up, but doesn't have to be perfect. You want a little bit of the a chunk of the egg in there. Now, funny thing, I'm using a plate to do this instead of a cutting board. I know that's another one of my idiosyncrasies. I find that when you use a cutting board, especially cutting board that's got a plastic one, you end up getting some of the egg, the yellows kind of stick to the cutting board, and I want all that delicious goodness in my salad. So in other words, you can't scrape it off as well. Anyway, I know it's strange, but thanks for disagreeing on.
Sounds logical.
Yeah. So again, nothing fancy to this, guys. You can leave them as big, as small as you want. Again, that's probably going to ultimately end up being about the same size as my potatoes or the gherkins. Let's put that back in there. All right, let me just rinse off my hands. Going to grab our dressing. As you can see, there's no potatoes here. I've already put the potatoes in the refrigerator, getting those nice and chilled. So we're going to get our egg into our dressing. And get that incorporated. I'm going to give it a little taste. I think it's perfect. Doesn't need any more salt. Doesn't need any more pepper. That's done. I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator. When everything is all nice and chilled, we're going to mix it together and we're going to have some delicious potato salad. See you then. Okay, our potatoes are nice and chilled. Our dressing is nice and chilled. Now the only thing left to do is to put them together. I usually put about half of the dressing in and start folding it in. Kind of folding it in gently. We don't want to break the potatoes up too much. Rest of it in there. And of course, want to get it nicely mixed up. It smells delicious. See, by cutting the gherkins up small, you get them nicely distributed through your whole potato salad. All right, that looks good. Make it look pretty. Wipe off our edge. All right, and then the last thing, a little bit of paprika. Give it that nice cookout potato salad look. And there you have it. Hopefully, delicious potato salad. Okay, now comes the best part, eating.
Yep.
Dig in.
This is the best potato salad thing I've ever had. It is.
He's got to say that, but
No,
it is
I'm
very
serious.
good. It's a nice, simple potato salad. It's tasty. Yep, I'll have to say, I've for years have been trying to find a potato salad that I could make well. I think I finally
It's
cooked
delicious,
it.
yeah.
Delicious. Thank you so much for watching. Hope that you guys have enjoyed watching us make this potato salad as much as we have enjoyed making it for you. Oh, I wanted to say, hey Joanne, it's been a couple steamy, hot, several steamy, hot, humid days up in our neck of the woods. I think it might be a little bit cooler where you are, I hope so. But I hope that you've enjoyed your summer, and I hope that you make this for
Definitely.
Libday.
This would be the hit of the party. It would be.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching us, and
Check us out on cherryhillhomecooking.com. Please like and subscribe. And see you in the next video.
ciao.
Bye.
Good.
Yep. Better than store-bought.
Thank you. Yep. Very tasty. I love it.
I like it.